Good evening and welcome to the December 2nd, 2020 legislative session of the Penfield Town Board. This evening we have on Zoom with us our four board members. I'll go around clockwise. Councilwoman Debbie Cole, Councilman Bob Ockenden, Councilwoman Linda Cole, Councilman Andy Moore, and the esteemed Town Attorney Richard J. Horowitz. In the Town Hall this evening, there are three of us. Mr. Costello, who is our Director of Developmental Services, our Town Clerk, and myself, Tony LaFountain, your Town Supervisor. I'm officially calling this meeting to order. Those of us in the auditorium will stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'll ask our clerk to officially call the roll.
Draw.
Here.
Cole.
Here.
LaFountain.
Here.
Moore. Moore.
Here.
Ockenden.
Here. Here. Okay, thank you. Let me read the official notice, and then we'll begin our meeting with our public hearings. Due to COVID-19 virus and the closing of town operations consistent with the governor's executive orders, the December 2nd, 2020 Town Board legislative meeting will be held remotely via Zoom. This meeting will also be video recorded and broadcast live via the town's website at penfield.org, on the town's government access channel, cable channel 1303, and on streaming media device Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire. Please search Penfield TV in your device's app store. This is a free app. The meeting will later be transcribed. Questions regarding video coverage this evening, please contact Penfield TV at 340-8661. If you would like to address the board this evening on any matter, there are two public participation opportunities, one at the beginning of the agenda, one at the end of the agenda. And you may participate by phone at 340-8771 or by electronic submission at penfield.org. So with that, this evening we do have three public hearings that were scheduled. And I'll recognize the clerk to please read the first legal for the public hearing number one.
To consider the establishment of a special improvement district within the Crown Point subdivision section 4. The legal notice was published in the Penfield Post on November 19th, 2020, posted on the town website and town clerk bulletin board. 8 postcards were mailed.
Great, thank you very much. I'll next recognize Mr. Horowitz, and I'll ask Mr. Horowitz, is this properly before the board?
Yes, it is.
Thank you, sir. This evening, I'll recognize our Development Services Director, Jim Costello, who will be giving us just a brief overview and heading up engineering and planning this evening as well. So, Mr. Costello.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing which is a perfunctory requirement as part of a subdivision approval process. Back in April of 2019, the Planning Board did approve Phase 4 of the Crown Point subdivision, which is off of Plank Road. This is the last phase of the development. It's a separate phase because the proposed pond does not connect to the ponds that already exist in the prior phases. It's a separate and distinct area. It's going to be maintained by the 7 residents who are within the section of the subdivision. The pond was constructed at the cost of the developer. All the improvements will be maintained and paid for by those 7 residents, and no other residents in the town of Penfield will be responsible for that pond. If there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Okay. This is a relatively straightforward, consistent with various subdivisions that we have setting up these special districts. They could be for one of a number of different things. This one is for the Special Improvement District. And I'd ask the board, do you have any questions for Mr. Costello? Okay. At this time, I'm checking both public participation online and for meeting call-in. and I do not see anyone that is interested or registered to speak. Let me talk a little bit about next steps, and then we can just double check if there is any further questions the board or the audience may have. So after this public hearing this evening, the next opportunity the board will discuss this matter will be next Wednesday at a work session. That is on the 9th of December. We'll do that in the same format that we're doing this evening. Anyone has the opportunity to either write in or call in to town offices between now and that next meeting if they have any questions or further input that they would like to provide. The board will take that into consideration before we make our final decision. With that being said, board, one last opportunity. Any specific questions? Again, a relatively straightforward item consistent with what we do in a lot of our subdivisions that come before us. Okay, one last check online. Does not show anyone that's called in or emailed in. So at this time, I'll declare this public hearing closed. Thank you very much. We'll move on to public hearing number 2.
To allow a home improvement office and residence at 1780 Penfield Road, located in the Four Corners zoning district. The legal notice was published in the Penfield Post on November 19th, 2020, posted on the town website and town clerk bulletin board. 25 postcards were mailed.
Thank you very much. Mr. Horowitz, is this matter properly before the board?
Yes, it is.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Costello, is our applicant with us and ready to discuss this matter?
We don't believe they are at this point, Mr. LaFountain. I have contacted them, but I have not gotten an answer back, so, and I'm
Okay.
concerned because they were going to meet with us this evening, as early as this afternoon, so.
Okay, so at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this matter on hold. We will then move on to our third public hearing. Once we've completed that, we'll circle back to see if the applicant has joined us. So with that, I'll recognize the clerk to read our third public hearing legal.
Mr. Supervisor?
Yes.
Could I suggest you giving out the live call-in number to the applicant in the event they are watching for them to call us on that number?
Yep. Thank you very much. So for the applicant for item number 2, that's the home improvement office and residence at 1780 Penfield Road. If you're not able to zoom in, but you're watching this, you can contact us at 340-8771, 340-8771. You'll be answered by our team downstairs at Penfield TV, and we'll circle back and hear that application. So thank you for that, and now I'll ask that we read legal for item number 3, please.
To allow a restaurant with outdoor dining and food truck at 1794 Penfield Road, located in the Four Corners zoning district. The legal notice was published in the Penfield Post on November 19th, 2020, posted on the town website and town clerk bulletin board. 24 postcards were mailed.
Great. Thank you very much. And again, Mr. Horowitz, is this matter properly before the board?
Yes, it is.
All right. Thank you, sir. With that, do we have our applicant on the line with us that is able to give us an overview of this particular item at 1794 Penfield Road?
Yes, we're here.
Okay, great. Welcome. So what I'd like to just indicate is that our board has received all the materials that were submitted to the town, and they were provided to us by Mr. Costello. So we have those in front of us. We do, however, like to give the applicants an opportunity to give us an overview of their business, of their proposal, and talk a little bit about your hours of operation, number of employees, any parking related matters, signage, things like that. So the floor is yours. Welcome.
Before you start, before you start, please give your names and addresses.
Absolutely. So my name is Jeff Cristiano, and this is my son, Riley Cristiano. I currently live in Canandaigua, New York, 12 Andrews Way, Canandaigua. and Riley lives in Webster. But we're both former Penfield residents, come back home, prodigal sons, as you will.
Very good.
I'm a retired, as of yesterday, Rochester City school teacher and former executive chef to Lodge at Woodcliff, and have over 40 years of culinary experience. And in my decision towards my retirement, Riley and I, who's a business major from the University of Wisconsin, decided to run a food truck last summer. We were very, very successful with that operation. And we had a commissary kitchen located in the city. Really wasn't a very favorable part of the city. So while we were looking for a replacement for that commissary, we noticed that the Penfield Hots location was available for sale. And both Riley and I have a history with Penfield Hots. Riley played football for Penfield, so we would come here after every game. And, you know, we would come here frequently. When we saw that the space was available, we thought it would be a perfect opportunity for us to use this as a commissary for our food truck, but also to use it as an opportunity to offer takeout, and the outdoor seating was perfect for that type of dining. So our plan was to renovate the building, which we did. We poured an enormous amount of money into getting this up to code and getting it where it needs to be. We've done every system that needed to be addressed: the plumbing, heating and cooling, refrigeration, you name it. Every system that's in this building has been redone. We're planning on redoing the deck next summer to make it safe and to code. And our plan is to operate our food truck, which will not be operated here. It will be operated in Monroe County and in Wayne, Finger Lakes, or Wayne, Ontario, and Yates counties as well. So this will serve as a commissary for our truck, an area, opportunity for us to stage the truck, as it will. And then we take the truck out, we come back and replenish, wash, clean, that sort of thing. But we'll also, while we're here, we'll be offering takeout. Our menu will be offered takeout as well.
So, Jeff, if you would, first off, congratulations on your retirement. I'm glad to see that you're not going to stay retired long, and you're going to get right back into the working world. So hopefully Riley appreciates that and your efforts to assist and help him out with this endeavor. If you would, could you give us an overview, hours of operation, if you will, staff that you might be looking at this particular location, recognizing that the food truck will be going to different sites, and then signage, if you will.
Yep, perfect. So our hours of operation are: we're closed Sunday, we're open Monday from 4 to 8:30, and Tuesday through Saturday, 11:30 to 8:30. And right now we have 7 employees plus Riley and myself. We have 3 Penfield High School students, 2 college students. What else? 2 MCC students. And 2 MCC students. Yep. And then, as far as signage is concerned, we're replacing the PHOT sign with the exact same footprint signage that was located out on Penfield Road. And we're replacing the sign that was on the side of the building. So everything that Penfield Hots had, we're just replacing with our logo.
Okay, great. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to recognize our town board for any questions or comments that they may have on this application. Board?
Is the food truck going to be there every night in the parking lot?
It'll only be here from April to December, and we store it for the winter.
Yeah. Do you have a spot for it? Just take up some room.
Yeah, we have 4 dedicated spots in our parking lot for our business, and then there's an area that's not a parking spot that's right adjacent to the building. That's where the truck will go.
You have some good lighting out there?
Yes, we do. And we have security cameras as well.
Okay. Very good. Is the chick magnet sign, do you have a photo of it? Do you have something you could share?
I could send over proofs. What we did is we took the Penfield hot sign. There was two on the side of 441, and we took them to our sign maker, and they traced it with the edges. It's basically just our logo with that, but I could provide proofs of that. Those signs will be delivered on Friday, so they're not hung up yet.
So hold on, Riley, if you would. Mr. Costello, I don't know if everyone can see it. Mr. Costello up on the screen has got a picture of the sign. I'll just verify. Riley, Jeff, is that the sign that you're looking to have?
Yeah, so it'll be that logo, but kind of imagine the corner on that image to be exactly like the signs that you see on the four corners with the curved edges. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Scalloped.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay.
I get it, yeah. Okay.
All right.
And then it also has a white border too to match the borders on all the other signs as well.
Okay. Great.
Will that sign be on the building as well?
There's a tall, not a tall, it's on the side of the building. It's very similar to that. And it talks about Chick Magnet, the ultimate chicken sandwich. And then we have a small sticker on the front of the window and with our hour on the front door window.
Do you have, are you going to sell alcohol in the inside? No.
No. We're trying to, our market is, we're trying to have a market that's appropriate for Penfield. I don't know how to say it politically correct, but we want to clean up the reputation of Penfield.
Okay.
That's good.
You referenced outdoor dining. I assume when it's appropriate, you'll plan to have inside dining as well?
Yeah, currently now there's room for 12 diners. We're not going to be offering indoor dining at this point because of the current situation. So we'll be doing just takeout only. But once hopefully the summer gets here and we're past this this pandemic, we're looking at offering opportunity for people to sit out on the deck. But the deck right now, I wouldn't want anyone to sit on it for safety reasons. We'd have to redo the deck as well.
Okay, thank you.
So Jeff, Riley, question for you. So you said you had 7 employees, but they will not all be at the restaurant at the same time?
No.
About how many will be there with vehicles to park for parking?
It'll be Riley and I, mainly every day, plus 3 other employees.
Okay.
So it'll be a different group of 5 every day.
Okay. And there's plenty of parking right back there, Jim. I know that there is, and the shared parking, there's plenty of parking.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're not looking for people to park and stay for a while. We're hoping, we have an online ordering system, so customers will order online, come in, pick up their food, and take it home with them. So it'll be very transient parking.
Great.
Will you have delivery?
We are offering it through Grubhub and DoorDash. So we won't physically have a staff that delivers it. It'll be done through a third party.
When would you like to open?
Tonight.
Okay.
We're hungry.
As soon as possible. We've been doing this for a while, and it's time to get things moving here. We're very excited. We had a ton of interest from the Penfield. Like I said before, we're from the Penfield area. We've gone to the Penfield school. Our friends are from Penfield, so the interest is enormous, and we're expecting it to be a pretty big thing.
Very good. Very good.
And I also want to say one other thing. We're super community oriented. We really want to be involved with the other businesses in our area, the school, Penfield Little League. Riley went through Penfield Little League, so we'd love to, have a chick magnet team.
I want Chick Magnet on the side of one of the hats, maybe the Orioles or maybe the Mets, one of the orange teams.
We would be we really want to be entrenched in the community. This is a big thing for us.
Excellent. So Riley, what was your batting average?
He's a slugger.
All right.
One of the scoreboard on Zapcar when I was 12.
Very nice.
That's a
Very
good one.
nice. All right.
Low average though, low average.
Power.
Power. All right, board, other questions for Jeff or Riley? I'd ask right now, yep, and I'll hold Mr. Costello just for a moment. We do have one public participation item that has come in via our website. So let me read this. This is from Glenn Route on Liberty Street. The current buffer zone fence is in very dilapidated condition. Is there a plan to repair, replace, or improve the buffer zone fence between the businesses around 1794 Penfield Road and the residents on Liberty Street that back up to these businesses? How wide is the buffer zone? If the buffer zone would be improved, what would the improvements be? If the buffer zone will be improved, will the buffer zone improvements extend across the 1802, 1798, 1790, 1788 Penfield Road? So that's a question that has come in. I know that you're looking to lease this facility. I also know that Mr. Costello has reached out to the property owner. So at this point, I'm going to ask Mr. Costello for any comments that he has, not only on this matter, but on any other items that may not have been added to the record.
Thank you. It's true, I have talked to Dr. D'Amelio about the issue. I had some photographs that I submitted to him this morning. He has indicated to me that he's more than willing to start cleaning up that fence and getting it out of the area. He has not yet decided what to do with the property in terms of developing it, and his intent at this point in time would be to clean the fence up, possibly put another fence in, but at this point in time, he would defer to the town board as to what it feels is appropriate with respect to further buffering. I know that at this point in time, he's not intending to do any regrading or installing a berm at this point in time, but he is more than willing to clean that area up and then possibly work with the town board to get a new fence in that area if necessary.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Costello. While you have the floor, additional comments or questions?
Just one other, actually two others now that I think of it. The first one, going back to where the truck is going to be parked, you can see the map that I have on the screen. I'm assuming it's going to be in the area over here where you have the parking spaces behind the restaurant. Is that the case?
Yeah, just right, it looks like there's something parked right adjacent to that little, right where your hand is.
Yep.
That's where the truck will be parked.
Very good. Then the other issue is, just want to make sure you know that you have to get your sign permits from the building department prior to any installation, and those signs have to be approved by the town board prior to them being issued by the building department.
So I think Jeff and/or Riley, you indicated that you should have, photos or some graphics of those signs, of those two signs, either in hand or we'll have in hand shortly. You could get those to Mr. either copies or photographs of those to Mr. Costello?
Absolutely.
Okay. And I'd ask that you, prior to putting those signs up, that you get those in to give the board an opportunity to take a look at those signs prior to being installed.
Gladly.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Costello, any other comments at this point?
No.
Board, any additional questions or comments for Jeff and/or Riley? And then I would recognize Jeff, Riley, any additional input that you would like to provide to the board that you haven't either already submitted or we've discussed this evening?
Nothing at this time, I think.
Okay. So let me talk a little bit about next steps. So the next opportunity the board will have to discuss this matter will be next Wednesday, the 9th. That is our work session. You have the opportunity, if you would like to listen in or call in or Zoom in so that you can hear or watch the deliberations, to be able to do that. I would ask you to work with Mr. Costello and our team downstairs at PCTV. If for some reason you can't be in attendance, then I would just ask to be in contact with Mr. Costello the next day on December 10th.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. Once again, congratulations on your retirement. Thank you for your proposal to bring a new business into the town, clean up that area. It sounds like some exciting times for both of you and your families.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
All right.
Can't wait to be a part of the community.
Excellent. Be well, be safe. Thank you very much for your time tonight. I'll declare this public hearing closed. Okay. I will next ask to circle back to our public hearing number 2. This is at 1780 Penfield Road for Home Improvement Office and Residence. And I'll ask our team downstairs, has anyone called in or Zoomed in for that application?
No, sir.
Okay. So at this time, this matter will be placed on hold, and we'll have to schedule another hearing at some point later this month or early in 2021. That concludes our public hearings this evening. We'll move on to the rest of our agenda, and we'll start with communications and announcements. And I'll ask our town clerk if there are any communications and announcements at this time.
Yes, there are. I have a couple of them. The first is the Penfield Ecumenical Food Shelf was able to distribute 201 Thanksgiving baskets to Penfield residents in need, thanks to the many volunteers in our incredibly generous community. If you'd like to donate a frozen turkey to the food shelf for the December holidays, you may do so by bringing a frozen turkey to the food shelf at 1618 Jackson Road on Saturday, December 19th, between 7:30 and 8:30 a.m. Frozen turkeys can weigh between 8 and 12 pounds. And for more information, please contact the Penfield Ecumenical Food Shelf at 234-0799 or visit their website at www.penfieldecumenicalfoodshelf.com. Also, I just wanted to mention that at our last town board meeting, I reported information regarding a nonprofit organization entitled Matt's Coats for Kids, which provides winter outerwear for children in need. I would like to report that the location of the distribution center has changed from the Brockport Fire Company No. 3 to the Brockport Elks Club located at 4400 Sweden Walker Road in Brockport. The distribution event will be held on Friday, December 4th from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. and on Saturday, December 5th from noon to 4 p.m. And for more details, please contact the co-directors for Matt's Coats for Kids. Their names are Karen and Adam Leidig at 585-721-5289. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll next recognize Councilwoman Debbie Draw. Any pearls of wisdom or communications and announcements for this evening?
No announcements tonight, Mr. Supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Councilman Bob Ockenden.
Mr. Supervisor, I do have two tonight that I'd like to present. The first is a notice from the state DOT. Some of you may have noticed that construction started Monday evening. The state's doing some repair work on the drainage structures right in the heart of the Four Corners. Maintenance will take place between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. and it's expected to last throughout this week. During this time, there'll be lane closures at the intersection with two-way traffic maintained by on-site flag personnel. DOT is also advising the traveling public to provide extra travel time and exercise caution while driving through an active highway work zone. And motorists can call 511 or visit 511ny.org for further travel information. Secondly, Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to read into the record a proclamation. This will be Small Business Saturday, November 28th, 2020, whereas the town of Penfield, New York recognizes the importance of local small businesses and the important contributions they make to our local economy and community. According to the United States Small Business Administration, there are 31.7 million small businesses in the United States. They represent 99.9% of all firms with paid employees in the United States, are responsible for 65.1% of net new jobs created from 2000 to 2019. Whereas 96% of consumers who shopped on Small Business Saturday agree that shopping at small independently owned businesses supports their commitment to making purchases that have a positive social, economic, and environmental impact. And 97% of consumers who shopped on Small Business Saturday agree that small businesses are essential to their community. And whereas 95% of consumers who shopped on Saturday reported the day makes them want to shop or eat small, independently owned businesses all year long, not just during the holiday season. Whereas small businesses are critically important to the overall economic health of the United States, highlighting the impact of supporting local businesses in communities like Penfield. And whereas residents benefit from easy access to Penfield's business districts and thriving farm markets throughout the year and holidays. And whereas the town of Penfield supports local businesses that create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our community. And the town is committed to provide entrepreneurs and small business owners the support they need to thrive and grow throughout the Office of Business Development and business-friendly streamlined zoning procedures. And whereas public and private organizations from across the nation, including Penfield Business Chamber, have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Tony LaFountain, Supervisor of the Town of Penfield, New York, do hereby proclaim Saturday, November 28th, 2020 as Small Business Saturday in the Town of Penfield and urge our residents to support small business merchants on Small Business Saturday and throughout the year, because healthy businesses make a healthy commitment for all. Dated November 28th, 2020, and signed by R. Anthony LaFountain, Supervisor. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you, Mr. Ockenden, and thank you for your efforts and encouragement for us getting that put together, getting that up on the website. Even though it was last Saturday, I think it was important to make sure that we had that as part of our official record. And equally important, as you indicated at the end of that proclamation, that we encourage all our residents to support our local businesses each and every day of the year. Penfield is very fortunate to have a very high percentage of small business, and those small businesses give so much back to our community. And I recognize the Penfield Business Chamber for all their efforts, their current president, Amy Valente, and her team that works so hard to coordinate the efforts for small businesses here in Penfield. So again, thank you, Mr. Ockenden, for your support of that as well. All right, I'll next recognize Mr. Andy Moore.
No announcements today, Mr. Supervisor.
All right, thank you. And Councilwoman Linda Cole.
Okay, I have a certificate of recognition to read. And it says, it was, it's by Tony, Certificate of Recognition, I'm trying to read off my phone here, is presented to Helen Antigone Papacosta Contis in celebration of her 106th birthday. Your joy of life is a shining example to all. May your family and friends, love of gardening, baking, and a lifetime of memories be always keep you young at heart. Best wishes from the entire Penfield community. It's a wonderful world, and you are a Penfield treasure. This is dated November 7th, 2020, and signed by R. Anthony LaFountain, Town Supervisor.
Thank you, Linda, and congratulations. What an amazing lady. I've had an opportunity to meet her on several different occasions, and someone that maybe even put some of us to shame in our activity. So God bless her for many more to come, for many more healthy ones to come. All right, I will next move on to public participation. We have two opportunities this evening, as indicated in our official notice at this time and again at the end of the agenda. You can do that one of two ways. You can do that by calling in at 340-8771. You can log on at penfield.org. And while I check to see if we have any calls coming in or any emails coming in, I'll just indicate that this morning we saw our first snow. And it takes all of us a little bit of time to get used to and adjust to those changing conditions. I would just encourage all of our residents that when we have those conditions to drive a little bit slower, allow yourself a little bit more time, and at some point the snowplows will be out on the road. And I would just encourage, please do not try to race them, outrun them, weave and bob in between them. They're there to make the roads safe for you to get you to work and to school. Seeing nothing coming in at this time, we do. Yes, sir.
Your applicant has arrived in Zoom.
Well, so at this point, I'll just ask from a legal standpoint, and I'm going to call on Mr. Horowitz. Mr. Horowitz, are we still able to hear this matter this evening?
Well, under the circumstances where the initial public hearing was brought to a close and a suspension, if you will, I think it would be more appropriate so the public can participate in an adjourned session, if you will.
Okay, so we'll reschedule this for a later date?
Yes.
Okay. I'll ask the applicant then to reach out and contact Mr. Costello tomorrow morning and make arrangements to get this back on the official docket. Thank you very much. Again,
Is this in reference to us?
Excuse me?
I'm sorry. Obviously, we had a big mix-up. I didn't know if this was in response to us. So I'm Dave Cameron.
So Dave, this matter has been closed. We will have to schedule a new public hearing as a result of not being here to hear this matter, and anyone that may have tuned in, listening in to hear this matter, comment on this matter, may no longer be with us. So from a protocol, we will schedule a new public hearing as soon as we can.
All right. I do apologize. I'm sorry for the mix-up on our end.
No, not a problem. Thank you. You and your family have a good holiday.
You do the same.
Thank you very much.
Hey.
We'll, again, we were at public participation, and seeing no other call-ins at this time, we'll move on to our agenda. Again, there is a second public participation session at the end of this agenda. One of two ways to join in, 340-8771 or at www.penfield.org. I'll ask the board, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening? Seeing none, we have the October 21st, 2020 minutes before us. That seems like almost a lifetime ago. And I would ask for a motion of approval for those minutes.
So moved.
One.
Moved by Councilman Ockenden, seconded by Councilwoman Draw.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. I'll ask, are there any questions or comments on those minutes? Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote of approval.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes.
All right, I'll ask the board, the town attorney, town clerk, has anyone received a petition since our last meeting?
If not.
I did, Mr. Supervisor. On Monday, I received a letter and petition titled Petition to Town of Penfield to Cancel Current Rossbrook Drive Sidewalk Construction Project. Letter reads as follows. The intent of this letter is to address property owners' concerns and disapproval regarding the current Rossbrook Drive sidewalk construction project. In August 2019, residents signed a petition to address traffic safety and speeding issues on the street by constructing a sidewalk. By signing the petition, some residents believed it was only to look at this as a possible solution, not as their final approval. In fact, 9 out of 12 residents on the south side of Rossbrook Drive have changed their minds for a sidewalk on this side. They are in favor of a loop described herein or none at all. Rossbrook residents were not included in further communication or community involvement on the proposed sidewalk since the petition circulated. It was only brought to light that it was going forward after surveyors were recently seen working on the street. We are asking to have this project canceled until neighbors whose properties this will affect are allowed time for additional input and discussion. All residents are concerned for the safety of children and families living on this street. With this in mind, neighbors canvassed are open to an alternative solution of adding a sidewalk to the north side of the road and creating a sidewalk loop to include Alta Vista Drive. Alta Vista is commonly used as a cut-through from busy Browncroft Boulevard to Panorama Trail. Adding a sidewalk to that street would allow children a safer alternative and could mitigate concerns regarding bus stops. A bus stop moved from Panorama Rossbrook to the Alta Vista and Rossbrook intersection could be viable replacement. We have approached neighbors on both Rossbrook Drive and Alta Vista Drive regarding a loop plan, and the response has been very positive. We include a petition from those residents stating their support. Sincerely, John and Marguerite Steves. The next 3 pages of the petition is signed by 23 residents residing on either Rossbrook Drive or Alta Vista Drive, and reads, a proposal for a sidewalk to be constructed on the south side of Rossbrook Drive has been submitted to the town of Penfield. After reading this proposal, an alternative suggestion is being made for a construction of sidewalk on Rossbrook Drive to include Alta Vista. Signatures below request the town of Penfield to review a proposal for one sidewalk to include both streets to form a loop from Browncroft down Alta Vista around Rossbrook and ending again on Browncroft Boulevard. Benefits of the loop include service for more family safety on 2 roads, less driveway cuts, not over a storm drain, provides a healthy and safe trail for area residents, and a cost advantage per household taxpayer. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Board, I'm going to ask that this matter be placed on the January 13th, 2021 work session. In the meantime, we will gather any additional information that was not either included with this or additional information that may be helpful for the conversation. So we will have it on the January 13th, 2021 work session. Okay.
Mr. Supervisor, could I ask that those petitions be sent to the board members so we could read them?
Yes.
Absolutely. We'll make sure that the town clerk scans and sends those in. As I understand it, Mr. Valentine has a map that we'll have scanned and sent to you later this week as well.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you, sir. All right, seeing no additional petitions at this time, we'll move on to resolutions by function, and we'll begin with law and finance.
Budget transfer in the library fund.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas a transfer within the library operations amount is necessary, and whereas the town board desires to have an up-to-date budget in relation to current income and expenditures, be it resolved that the following 2020 budget transfer be approved from audit in the amount of $2,300 to medical insurance in the amount of $2,300. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. I'll ask the board any discussion on this matter. Seeing no discussion, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. Authorize the town supervisor to sign an intermunicipal agreement with Monroe County for coronavirus aid, relief, and economic security. It's going to be known as CARES Act distribution.
Second.
Whereas the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, or CARES Act, was passed by Congress and signed into law on March 27, 2020, and provides economic relief to the American people from public health and economic impacts of COVID-19. Whereas through the Coronavirus Relief Fund, the CARES Act provides for payments to state, local, and tribal governments navigating the impacts of the COVID-19 outbreak. Whereas the county is eligible, or is an eligible unit of government under the CARES Act and has received an allocation of funds. Whereas the CARES Act requires the coronavirus relief funds that may be used to cover and only cover those costs of local government that are necessary expenditures incurred due to the public health emergency with respect to COVID-19. B, were not accounted for in the budget most recently approved as of March 27, 2020 for local governments. And C, incurred during the period which began March 1st, 2020 and ends December 30th, 2020. Whereas the county is duly authorized to enter into an agreement pursuant to Resolution 188 of 2020 of the Monroe County Legislature, adopted on June 9th, 2020, and approved by Monroe County Executive Adam Bello on June 16th, 2020. Whereas the town of Penfield is duly authorized to enter into an agreement pursuant to the action taken by this legislative body, a copy of such authorization with the town of Penfield shall be provided. Now be it resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to accept and execute an intermunicipal agreement upon review and approval of the Penfield town attorney. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. I'll ask any questions by the board. I'll just add a note that we've had 2 opportunities to receive some funding. First was originally from Homeland Security and State of New York, and the town submitted, one of the few towns that submitted their cost for PPE, hand sanitizing, disinfectant, and what have you. And we were made whole by that as part of the State of New York. This component here is as it relates to some additional staffing that we've had to maintain proper security both at the community center and at the town hall as we've managed through this pandemic. And these funds are provided by the CARES Act. CARES Act funding will cover things through 12/31/2020. And as we move into 2021, we'll see what, if any, needs that we have and what, if any, additional funding might be available. With that, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. Authorization to amend Town Board Resolution 20T-195 for supervisor to sign a license and hold harmless agreement to include a portion of a fence within a pedestrian walkway and storm sewer easement at 73 Meadowlark Drive, in addition to a portion of the driveway.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas on November 4th, in Resolution 20T-195 of 2020, the town board authorized the supervisor to sign a license and hold harmless agreement with the former owners of 73 Meadowlark Drive to allow a portion of the driveway to encroach onto the pedestrian walkway and sewer easement based on the findings that the encroachment was minimal and would not diminish the integrity of the purpose of the easement. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Penfield authorizes the supervisor to sign an amended license and hold harmless agreement with the new owners of the property at 73 Meadowlark Drive. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Discussion. Seeing no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes. Authorize the town supervisor to sign an intermunicipal agreement with Penfield Central School District for AV services.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the Penfield Central School District has requested audio-video services from the Town of Penfield Department of Cable TV to assist with District Board of Education meetings and district video production needs. Whereas the town understands the school district's annual video production coverage needs to be 20 Board of Education meetings, 1 special Board of Education meeting, 1 meeting the candidates night, and 1 other meeting awards ceremony. Additional support services for this will include post-production editing, processing, distribution, and archiving of district production, post-meetings closed captioned of each production for replay reviewing. Whereas the district agrees to pay the town $10,000 annually for AV services as listed. Payments will be made in 4 $2,500 installments. Whereas the town has identified the following rates for additional services to be quoted to the district upon request. Installation and maintenance, $55 an hour. Additional meeting production, $75 an hour. Field production with town equipment, $85 an hour. And post-production editing at $40 an hour. Whereas this agreement shall be for the term of 12 months starting September 1st, 2020 through August 31st, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Further discussion, Board? Seeing no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Thank you. We'll move on to old business. Is there any old business to come before the board this evening? Seeing none, is there any new business to come before the board this evening? Again, seeing none, this brings us to our second public participation. Once again, 340-8771 or at penfield.org. I'll ask the board any additional comments that they'd like to share with our viewing audience this evening as we give both our website and our call-in numbers. And I'm just checking my screen to make sure we don't have anybody waiting. Any additional pearls of wisdom that anyone would like to share? Okay. Seeing none. And seeing no further business to come before the board this evening, the December 2nd, 2020 legislative session of the Penfield Town Board will stand adjourned at 7:54 p.m. As always, we ask all of our residents, please be well, please be safe, mask up, socially distant, hand sanitizing, disinfecting, try to keep everyone safe for a holiday season coming up. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.